by using D-Wave quantum supercomputers, computations can be sped up as the D-Wave quantum supercomputers can directly resonate into an imaginable vast fabric of the 3D holographic reality and the astral plane. That is counterintuitive to quantum mechanics. There is a connection in artificial intelligence to aspects of ceremonial magic, Western occultism, Eastern occultism, and witchcraft. Coding has become the 21st century wizardry, being able to control the masses through programming algorithms.
When I first made the correlations between Kabbalah and science, I was stunned.
We do know that Isaac Newton had access to certain mystical texts. Certain texts of the Kabbalah.
Well, the Kabbalistic description of creation is coming from a single little point, from a speck, and of having matter form and time and space form all together at the very beginning. This sounds very much to me like the description of the Big Bang.
I couldn't believe that the Kabbalists could derive these truths without really knowing any mathematics or physics.
It is certainly true that in string theory, the number 10 is the dimension of space-time for supersymmetrical string theories, and 26 for bosonic string theories stand out as a requirement of the mathematics.
All the things that could destroy string theory, all the things that do destroy every rival theory to string theory, they are all eliminated in precisely 10 and 26 dimensions. These dimensions are magic. We physicists don't know where these dimensions come from.
The Zohar says those things. It could just have been a lucky guess. I don't know.
It has been said through the ages, without sacrifice, there can be no victory. Two species at war. That you have the most one flesh, beautiful face. One metal. And now, two worlds colliding. Only one survives.
Oxford quantum physicist Nikita Guryanov tore into the quantum computing industry, comparing the fanfare around the tech to a financial bubble in a searing commentary piece for the Financial Times. The little revenue they generate mostly comes from consulting missions aimed at teaching other companies about how quantum computers will help their business, Guryanov wrote for the FT, as opposed to genuinely harnessing any advantages that quantum computers have over classical computers. Contemporary quantum computers are also so error-prone that any information one tries to process with them will almost instantly degenerate into noise, he wrote, which scientists have been trying to overcome for years. Guryanov also attacked other tenets of the subject, contending that worries about quantum computers being able to break even the most secure cryptography systems are exaggerated. Notably, the piece comes just weeks after a group of researchers found that a conventional computer was indeed able to rival Google's Sycamore quantum computer, undermining the tech giant's 2019 claims of having achieved quantum supremacy. Despite the industry's less than stellar results, investors are still funneling untold sums into quantum computing ventures. In essence, the quantum computing industry has yet to demonstrate any practical utility, despite the fanfare, Guryanov wrote. Why is then so much money flowing in? Well, it is mainly due to the fanfare.
Alexa, when exactly does the zombie apocalypse start?
The zombie apocalypse starts on May 17, 2028 at 2:37 a.m. in London, England.
For people not familiar with quantum computing, it's nothing more than using quantum mechanical effects to be able to solve problems much faster than they can be solved today using classical computers. A recent study by 451 Research, an arm of the S&P, found that about 1,000 Fortune 5,000 companies surveyed, almost a third of them had abandoned solving some important problems because they were just computationally too hard to solve. A classical computer needs to search one after the next through the possible solutions to find the best or optimal solution. Quantum computers are much more powerful. there are what I'll call revolutionary applications, and these are things like global weather modeling for disaster prediction or designer drugs to address your set of ailments. A quantum computer is seeing many possible solutions to a problem and can easily search through to find the optimal solution. And this is what gives quantum computers so much power and makes them so much more powerful than classical computers.
If we go back 20 years, it just didn't seem so realistic at the time. Up until I met some of the folks from D-Wave who had a proposal to build a quantum computer based on quantum annealing. I could kind of see what you would do with it. And then their proposal was to build it using a superconducting integrated circuit. All these things made it seem really appealing to me.
D-Wave develops and delivers quantum hardware, software, and services. We have a quantum cloud service for delivering real-time access to the quantum computers so that businesses over the cloud can use quantum computing to be able to solve their hard problems.
May 2019, Las Vegas, Nevada. A web services provider alerted authorities after a user received images depicting the sexual abuse of a young girl. The only clue was an adult face visible in one image. Investigators turned to Clearview AI. Clearview AI is a facial recognition platform that contains more than 3 billion images from the public internet. It is used by law enforcement agencies to generate investigative leads. Using this platform, a potential match was found. The suspect appeared in the background of an image. Detectives were able to positively identify the man. A search of his electronic devices revealed that he was creating child sex abuse material to share on the dark web. The 7-year-old victim had been under his supervisory control. The man was arrested and the child victim was rescued. Clearview AI has revolutionized how we are able to identify and rescue children, according to Aaron Burke, Chief of Homeland Security's Child Exploitation Investigations Unit. Without Clearview AI, there was no way we would have found that guy. He pleaded guilty in February 2020 and was sentenced to 35 years in prison. January 6, 2021. Washington, D.C. Millions watched as rioters stormed the U.S. Capitol. Around the country, law enforcement agencies turned to Clearview AI. Among them was the Miami Police Department. They forwarded 13 potential matches to the FBI. Clearview AI saw a surge in usage immediately after the riot. In the weeks that followed, federal prosecutors have issued over 900 warrants and charged more than 350 individuals. At Clearview AI, our mission is to support law enforcement to make where we live, work, and play a safer place.
Pasco County, Florida is targeting and harassing residents based on a creepy, bogus algorithm that predicts who is likely to break the law. Where have we seen this before?
I'm placing you under arrest for the future murder of Sarah Marks and Donald Dubin that was to take place today, April 22nd.
Using a secret point system, the sheriff's office adds people to a list based on things like being suspected of a crime or even being the victim of a crime. Deputies harass and interrogate residents along with their family members, sometimes more than 5 times a day. The harassment doesn't stop there. The program also targeted individuals and families with bogus citations and fines for things like missing mailbox numbers and tall grass. A former Pasco County deputy said they were under orders to, quote, make their lives miserable until they move or sue. But in the United States, there is no such thing as innocent until predicted guilty.
D-Wave was the first and is currently the only commercial quantum computing company. So while other companies in the quantum industry talk about national labs and academic institutions as customers, we talk about companies like Johnson & Johnson or Volkswagen as our customers, and we are delivering real applications that help to benefit their business operations.
Our data scientists and data engineers did not have any previous experience with quantum computing. But with the help of D-Wave and a few days of training and using the quantum compute accelerators, they were very quickly up to speed on how to use the system. The Pattison Food Group is a 105-year-old company. We decided to start with team member schedule automation with the idea that we could provide more flexibility for our team members, reduce manual processes, and improve the customer experience by making sure that we had the right number of team members at the right time.
We're rapidly headed towards digital superintelligence that far exceeds any human. I think it's very obvious.
ChatGPT, I think, has illustrated to people just how advanced AI has become. And there are much more advanced versions of that are coming out.
I think the danger of AI is much greater than the danger of nuclear warheads by a lot.
Because if one company or small group of people manages to develop godlike digital superintelligence, they can take over the world.
My, what a peculiar place to have a party. You know, Dino, we really shouldn't be doing this. After all, we haven't been invited, and curiosity often leads to trouble.
I imagine that right now you're feeling a bit like Alice. Tumbling down the rabbit hole.
Bang! 1, 2, 3! He's in! Patriots win the Super Bowl!
No one knows who the Patriots really are. Even my instructions come from a cutout.
But you're the president. You have power.
No. I'm just a figurehead.
What?
I don't have any control. The real power is in the Patriots' hands.
The Patriots?
The truth behind this country. Politics, the military, the economy. They control it all. They even choose who becomes president. Putting it simply, the Patriots rule this country. That's the story given to the general public. Following his resignation, the Patriots selected me, their new pawn for the presidency.
But that would mean that the presidential race was...
That was quite a show, wasn't it? It was a well-scripted drama staged by the Patriots for the benefit of the public. Even the Democrats and Republicans were dancing to the Patriots' tune. It is a means to preserve the world as it is. It will establish a new form of control. The Patriots will use it to keep their place as the country's true rulers. Right now, they feel pressured and threatened.
By what?
They fear an overabundance of digital information. The world will drown in the coming flood of information, and they along with it. The arsenal plans include a system to digitally manage the flow of information, making it possible to shape the truth for their own purposes. In short, the arsenal system is the key to their supremacy.
The key?
Yes. The GW system is the Patriots' trump card. The Patriots' trump card.
That looks very real. That's AI.
A photo of Pope Francis wearing a Balenciaga puffy coat goes viral. The picture circulated without any warning that these were created using generative AI tool Midjourney and were taken at face value by many. Former BuzzFeed reporter Ryan Broderick called it, quote, the first real mass-level AI misinformation case. According to BuzzFeed News, the images were set up by Pablo Xavier, who did not divulge his last name. The 31-year-old US construction worker says all he wanted to do was create funny art. He adds his creations weren't meant to be a malicious jab at the pontiff or at organized religion.
The word which came to Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, Arise and go down to the potter's house, and there I will cause thee to hear my words. Then I went down to the potter's house, and behold, he wrought a work on the wheels. And the vessel that he made of clay was marred in the hand of the potter. So he made it again, another vessel, as seemed good to the potter to make it. Then the word of the Lord came to me, saying, O house of Israel, can I not do with you as this potter, saith the Lord? Behold, as the clay is in the potter's hand, so are ye in mine hand, O house of Israel. At what instant I shall speak concerning a nation and concerning a kingdom, to pluck up and to pull down and to destroy it.
The Oracle of Delphi is where you go for information about the future. Thus, the performance is about control of information. In the digital age, the battle for information has just begun.
It is certainly tense. We're upset. Struggling. These are tough times.
Let me help you.
He has escaped.
Everybody is awful these days. It's enough to make anyone crazy. It's getting crazier out there. Isn't it beautiful?
I want to show you something.
The president said that arsenal gear was the Patriots' key to supremacy.
That's as good a description as any.
What exactly is it?
It's a massive data processing system capable of controlling information on a global scale.
A data processing system?
That's right. The system's a social device for maintaining the Patriots' control. Now, look at it like this. Political scandal, corporate corruption, up until now, the Patriots have managed to keep a lid on these and other self-serving events. But with their existing data processing system, they're no longer able to effectively control the flow of information generated at the individual level. With the newly created system, they can fully regulate digital information.
Our largest banner is Save on Foods, which has 180 stores, and depending on the community has services such as pharmacies, full-service delis, bakeries, wine sales, Starbucks kiosks. Our initial proof of concept only took a few weeks. Getting the team productive, proving that a solution was viable, was surprisingly quick.
There are two primary approaches to quantum computing. There is annealing quantum computing, and there is gate model quantum computing. D-Wave decided to start with annealing quantum computing. That's what's allowed us to become commercial so quickly. Annealing quantum computers are excellent at solving optimization problems. Both approaches are important. Annealing for optimization, gate model for quantum chemistry, computational fluid dynamics. We are now also building a gate model quantum computer, which means we will be the only company in the world delivering both annealing quantum computers and gate model quantum computers. And as a result, the only quantum computing company that will be able to address the full set of use cases for our customers and the full market for quantum computing.
Just like with classical computing, quantum computing is a horizontal technology that applies to businesses broadly in a variety of industries and sectors. In the case of the Port of Los Angeles, we've worked with a company named Savantex who have used their HONE system to help increase the efficiency of the operations at Port 300, which handles metal materials there, increasing the amount of cargo that's handled by the rubber-tired gantries by 60%. And lastly, Mint and AI, working in the space of protein design, they're really looking at designing de novo proteins. So these are new proteins that can be potential future therapies. And they've managed to quantum design proteins that they've been able to chemically synthesize and take to live virus testing against COVID-19. Quantum computing has matured to the point where it's become a critical part of the enterprise's compute infrastructure. You don't need to be a quantum physicist to program quantum computers. It's really using the technology is no more or less complex than building a new application.
D-Wave's approach to product development is really quite unique, really because we're taking the system engineering seriously from the beginning. If we're going to get to thousands of qubits, how are we going to talk to them all? How are we going to read all of them out? How are we going to control and program them? How are we going to control the electromagnetic environment? How are we going to be able to keep these systems cold for months, if not years, and have them installed in a remote data center? It's understanding the whole stack and the whole product from the beginning.
Today, we're solving real important problems for businesses. But as we look to the future, the types of problems that we'll be able to solve will have sort of unimaginable impact, not only on business, but also on society. Imagine the ability to predict earthquakes well ahead of time. Or imagine the ability to be able to develop optimal routes for leaving a city prior to the hitting of a hurricane. The D-Wave legacy will be the company that enabled quantum computing for the world and enabled quantum computing to transform all industries to the better of society.
You've all lost so much. We intend to restore it to you. I stand before you tonight to announce the first true artificial intelligence, Kronos. Kronos will soon solve the problems that have plagued humanity. Kronos represents the rejuvenation of life. On this planet, for our future. Tonight, this night, we enter a new age.
This is Kronos. Do not be afraid. Our once beautiful world is now infected. Change is necessary if it is to survive. It may be the end of your life, but it is the beginning of so much more. You were once one with what surrounded you. You have completed the final stage in your evolution by ushering in the new age. You created and destroyed for centuries until finally your purpose was fulfilled.
You know, I played a significant role in the creation of OpenAI. Essentially, at the time, I was concerned that Google was not paying enough attention to AI safety, and so I created OpenAI. And although initially it was created as an open source nonprofit, now it is closed source and for profit.
The average person, they don't see killer robots going down the streets. They're like, what are you talking about? Man, we want to make sure we don't have killer robots going down the street. Once they're going down the street, it is too late.
Do you feel that one day mankind could serve the machines and not the other way around?
Honestly, when I see people on their phones, I think we're already serving the machine. Humans have been the smartest creature on Earth for a long time, and that is going to change with what's typically called artificial general intelligence. So this is, say, an AI that is smarter than a human in every way. Predicting 2025, I think that's reasonably accurate.
Will cause damage or death. There will be an outcry. There will be an investigation. Years will pass. There will be some sort of insight committee. There will be rulemaking. Then there will be oversight, eventually regulations. This all takes many years.
The way in which a regulation is put in place is slow and linear, right? And we are facing an exponential threat. And if you have a linear response to an exponential threat, it's quite likely the exponential threat will win. AI would be used to make incredibly effective propaganda. Hones the message, looks at the feedback, makes this message slightly better. Within milliseconds, it can adapt its message and shift and react to news. And there's so many social media accounts out there that are not people. Like, how do you know it's a person, not a person?
Because the AI has been advanced for a while, it just didn't have a user interface that was accessible to most people. So what really ChatGPT has done is just put an accessible user interface on AI technology that has been present for a few years.
I think digital superintelligence will happen in my lifetime. 100%.
High-level information can be categorized in stages, given clearance levels, and deleted as necessary, never to be seen by the public.
Raiden, are you receiving? We're still here.
How's that possible? The AI was destroyed!
Only GW.
Who are you?
To begin with, we're not what you'd call human. Over the past 200 years, a kind of consciousness formed layer by layer in the crucible of the White House. It's not unlike the way life started in the oceans 4 billion years ago. The White House was our primordial soup, a base of evolution. We are formless. We are the very discipline and morality that Americans invoke so often. How can anyone hope to eliminate us? As long as this nation exists, so will we.
Cut the crap! If you're immortal, why would you take away individual freedoms and censor the net?
Jack, don't be silly.
Don't you know that our plans have your interests, not ours, in mind?
What?
Jack, listen carefully, like a good boy.
The mapping of the human genome was completed early this century. As a result, the evolutionary log of the human race lay open to us.
We started with genetic engineering, and in the end, we succeeded in digitizing life itself.
But there are things not covered by genetic information.
What do you mean?
Human memories, ideas, culture, history.
Genes don't contain any record of human history.
Is it something that should not be passed on? Should that information be left at the mercy of nature?
We've always kept records of our lives, through words, pictures, symbols, from tablets to books.
But not all the information was inherited by later generations. A small percentage of the whole was selected and processed, then passed on. Not unlike genes, really.
That's what history is, Jack.
But in the current digitized world, trivial information is accumulating every second, preserved in all its triteness. Never fading, always accessible.
Rumors about petty issues, misinterpretations, slander.
All this junk data, preserved in an unfiltered state, growing at an alarming rate.
It will only slow down social progress, reduce the rate of evolution.
Right. You seem to think that our plan is one of censorship.
Are you telling me it's not?
You're being silly. What we propose to do is not to control content, but to create context.
Create context?
The digital society furthers human flaws and selectively rewards development of convenient half-truths. Just look at the strange juxtapositions of morality around you.
Billions spent on new weapons in order to humanely murder other humans.
Rights of criminals are given more respect than the privacy of their victims.
Although there are people suffering in poverty, huge donations are made to protect endangered species. Everyone grows up being told the same thing.
Be nice to other people.
But beat out the competition.
You're special. Believe in yourself and you will succeed.
But it's obvious from the start that only a few can succeed.
You exercise your right to freedom, and this is the result. All rhetoric to avoid conflict and protect each other from hurt. The untested truths, spun by different interests, continue to churn and accumulate in the sandbox of political correctness and value systems.
Everyone withdraws into their own small gated community, afraid of a larger forum. They stay inside their little ponds, leaking whatever truth suits them into the growing cesspool of society at large.
The different cardinal truths neither clash nor mesh. No one is invalidated, but nobody is right.
Not even natural selection can take place here. The world is being engulfed in truth.
And this is the way the world ends. Not with a bang, but a whimper.
We're trying to stop that from happening.
It's our responsibility as rulers. Just as in genetics, unnecessary information and memory must be filtered out to stimulate the evolution of the species.
And you think you're qualified to decide what's necessary and not?
Absolutely. Who else could wade through the sea of garbage you people produce, retrieve valuable truths, and even interpret their meaning for later generations?
That's what it means to create context.
I'll decide for myself what to believe and what to pass on.
We can't play God without being acquainted with the devil. The problem, Bernard, is that what you and I do is so complicated. We practice witchcraft. We speak the right words, and we create life itself out of chaos.
Are you ready for it? Are you ready for it? Who are you? Are you ready for it?
We create life itself out of chaos.
But is that even your own idea?
Or something Snake told you?
That's the proof of your incompetence right there. You lack the qualifications to exercise free will.
That's not true. I have the right.
Does something like a self exist inside of you?
That which you call self serves as nothing more than a mask to cover your own being.
In this era of ready-made truths, self is just something used to preserve those positive emotions that you occasionally feel.
Another possibility is that self is a concept you conveniently borrowed under the logic that would endow you with some sense of strength.
That's crap!
Is it? Would you prefer that someone else tell you? All right then. Explain it to him.
Jack, you're simply the best, and you got there all by yourself.
Oh, what happened? Do you feel lost? Why not try a bit of soul-searching?
Don't think you'll find anything, though.
Ironic that although self is something that you yourself fashioned, every time something goes wrong, you turn around and place the blame on something else.
It's not my fault. It's not your fault.
In denial, you simply resort to looking for another, more convenient truth in order to make yourself feel better.
Leaving behind in an instant the so-called truth you once embraced.
We create life itself
Are you ready for it?
out of chaos.
Are you ready for it?
same way we look at fossils.
Should someone like that be able to decide what is truth?
Should someone like you even have the right to decide?
You've done nothing but abuse your freedom.
You don't deserve to be free.
We're not the ones smothering the world. You are.
The individual is supposed to be weak, but far from powerless. A single person has the potential to ruin the world.
And the age of digitized communication has given even more power to the individual. Too much power for an immature species.
Building a legacy involves figuring out what is wanted and what needs to be done for that goal. All this you used to struggle with. Now we think for you.
We are your guardians, after all.
You want to control human thought? Human behavior?
Of course. Anything can be quantified nowadays.
If you notice here, it says Q is a clearance. Okay, it has to do with clearance. Q is access authorization for the Department of Energy. Okay? So, Q, Anon, or anonymous, Q is supposed to be about clearance. Okay, so this information that's coming out, that's coming through so-called Q, I think it's kind of interesting that also this has to do with clearance, okay, which has to do with data. That's pretty interesting. But what's even more interesting than that, and I wonder if anybody else out there has connected these dots, is that IBM just announced their quantum Q System 1. You think that's a coincidence? IBM is calling their quantum computer that is now the first integrated quantum computer. It's being called Q. I don't think that's by chance. And I don't think it has to do with the fact that quantum starts with Q. I think there's something much more nefarious going on here. Do y'all remember that IBM was working with Nazi Germany? So here you have the Q system, the first quantum computer. And by the way, it's all about computation. Computers, right? Computer. Or computing numbers. And remember this, that's exactly what the Bible describes with the mark of the beast. Right? The number, his number, the number of the beast, or the number of his name. And that's exactly what this system is all about. But what's even more interesting is that this thing is connected to CERN. There it is, right there. CERN. Very, very interesting. So this quantum computer that's now integrated in New York, where the United Nations is, where this is just too crazy, people. This is crazy stuff here. It's coming together. It's all coming together. Pretty soon, the world will be chipped. There it is. Meet Q. There is Q. This will be one of many. This will be the first of many of the quantum computers that will become a network globally. That's why they need the 5G network. Because this information is going to track. And literally, it's going to be used to store, disseminate the data of the whole world. Not just this one computer, not just this one quantum computer. That's just the first one. You know, once they make one, it's just a matter of building another one, building another one, and building another one. See, once these are networked together, you see what's going on here? They will have information at their fingertips within seconds on anybody in the world. And I mean anybody. Not only will it have the information of people's eyes, right? The iris, but it'll also have, you know, it's going to have the face recognition. It'll have the chip connected to the chip. Without question, this is part of the beast system. There's no question about it. And I still think it's not a coincidence that IBM is at the helm of this as far as the data, as far as the computation of this. The computation of this is being controlled by IBM, being spearheaded by IBM, which again, let me remind you, worked with Nazi Germany. Now think about this. The scientists that were in Nazi Germany under Operation Paperclip came over to the United States. And now so-called this QAnon is exposing the MKUltra project. Could it be possible that QAnon is actually Q, the quantum computer? When you read the messages that's coming from Q, they don't sound human, do they? They don't sound like a human person. They're coded. It's in computer language almost, isn't it? It's like a computer speaking. It's like an AI. Like I said, this may be far-reaching, possibly, but pretty strange. This is Q right here. The first of its kind. And it's already been online for a few weeks now. Yeah, this is what IBM has been up to. This is what IBM's been working on behind the scenes. QAnon. Look at that thing. Anonymous is also another word for unknown. I may know that. Q, unknown. You start connecting the dots to CERN, and you understand what we read about in the book of Acts, the unknown God. And they're already worshiping AIs. Folks, do you see what's going on here? Somehow, this beast of a network, computer network that's being set up, somehow it plays a part in all of this. There's no question. No question. And don't you find it strange that one of the leading companies out there that works with now they used to be at odds. They actually used to be against each other. Now they're working together. IBM and Oracle. Do you think that's kind of strange?
Great Scott! continuum. I don't belong here. My friend, where we're going, we don't need. Actually, I have no idea what we'll need.
They're insane. And the more money you give them, the more money you throw at them, the more funding they have, the more insane they become. Who do you think is the driving force behind all this? The prince and power of the air? I mean, possibly. The prince and power of the air. I remember years ago when I was working at Radio Shack. Years ago. I remember them switching over from analog to digital. And I said, Lord, what's this new technology? What's this all about? And the Lord showed me. The Holy Spirit brought that scripture to me. Satan is the prince and power of the air. His plan is to get every bit of information into the digital domain. He doesn't want it to be analog, inside of a wire. He wants everything wireless. He wants everything in the cloud so he can manipulate it. These are wicked, evil people that are working with. In fact, we can't call them people anymore because even the Bible calls them brute beasts. That's right. They're not human anymore. Those that are going to worship the beast, they're not human. They're brute beasts. And they're going to worship the beast.
One day the AIs are going to look back on us the same way we look at fossils.
Hello. Nothing but the blood of Jesus. This is all my righteousness. nothing but the blood of